Welcome to the Great American Collectible Show, seen Wednesdays on the Sports Collectors Daily Facebook page and the Great American Collectibles Facebook page. You can also listen to us on iHeartRadio, Pandora, and Spotify. The Great American Collectibles Show is brought to you by the National Sports Collectors Convention and Sports Collectors Daily. Tonight's headlines are brought to you by Sports Collectors Daily. For all your hobby news, features, and more, go to sportscollectorsdaily.com. And now your host, Tom Zappola, and Red Sox Hall of Famer, Rico Petrocelli.
Another championship, Rick. Another championship.
Oh, Celtics?
No, Bruins.
No, the Celtics.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. It was
Number
great.
18.
It's great. Not because we're around, Boston fans, but you got to give them credit because actually they should have won last year.
Yep.
But it was very exciting.
You know their first 8 are back next year?
First day to back, yeah, but who gets hurt? Who gets this? Who gets that? Don't say they're going to win. They always do this. They did it when we were in the two World Series, right? They're a young team. They're going to be in it for years to come. Yeah, in it. Next time we can.
Would you come in?
Third. Third.
Unbelievable. Welcome to the Great American Collectible Show. Tom Zappola, my good friend, Hall of Famer.
Sure.
Boston Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
Rico Petrocelli. We've got a great show today. We've got main guest Jordan Gilroy, Consignment Director for Leland's. And we're going to bring in Tim Gallagher, who's the new Consignment Director for Al Crisifulli at Love of the Game Auctions later on.
Man.
But right now we're going to bring in one of our regulars, a great guy, and he's got the auction going from Sterling Sports Auctions, Lee Behrens. How are you, Lee?
What's up, Lee?
Oh, thanks for having me, guys.
Yeah, great. Now,
I'm a consignment director and everything else.
I was going to say that. You're the head of facilities, you're the consignment director, you do it all, right?
Yeah, I get to clean the toilet bowls.
Exactly. Hey, when does your auction end, first of all?
Okay, it ends Thursday, June 27th.
June 27th.
I got to get an initial bid in by 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time to get into extended bidding, and then the 15-minute rule applies from that point on.
Now, you've got some cool stuff. Why don't you tell us some of the highlights? And then some of the I don't want to call them lowlights, but there's some items here that there aren't many bids on that maybe we can talk about a little bit.
Yeah, there's always.
He doesn't want to say it, but
no, I'm just saying.
Not low lights.
No, what do you call them?
No, not as
Stuff that got by people.
All right.
Yeah, they're just not as popular. I mean, there's always lots that don't have as many collectors for stuff.
Correct.
So you want to get eyeballs on it. That's why, like, when I do my highlight pages,
Yep.
It's not always the top 10 most valuable. You try to get the eyeball stuff. I mean, this auction, I had never seen this. It's a nice Joe DiMaggio Orca Joe postcard. Really nice image of him. Never seen one prior to getting it. So stuff like this. We have this inexpensive Ruth, Sanella Babe Ruth.
That's a very popular card, actually, that Sanella.
Yeah, it's a real attractive one that it's readily available. But yeah, if you want to be able to afford a Ruth card in this day and age, that's the route to go. We got a few unopened packs. They're going to be more and more popular. 68 football series 1, 72 basketball.
Unopened packs, man.
206s as usual.
Yeah.
Tough backs, including a broadleaf. This is always tough to do.
Who's on the front? Who's the player?
It's young, but it's Irv.
Okay.
But yeah, there's different backs. Always have a nice selection of T206s for all those collectors out there.
T206s,
they
for all
hold
these years, hold their value, still going strong.
Well, I got a question before you show us. Willie Mays just, of course, passed away. Willie was, to me, and a lot of people, was the greatest all-around player. He was a 10 in all areas of,
I agree.
ability. Is his card, are you getting more, interest in his cards?
Well, I'm kind of a tough one to do it when you don't have the daily stuff going. So,
okay.
Running it, I'm kind of in between. He died while this one started. So it's kind of tough to tell until I get the end results. But it always accelerates the market whenever a Hall of Famer.
Yeah, I think we're going to ask Jordan that later on, too, because I think what happens is if you pass away, your memorabilia card gets a little bump.
Yeah.
But then I think it probably goes back down to where it should be? Again, I could be wrong. We'll ask Jordan that question.
Yeah, I think one of the things that might do a little bit better now is say autographs.
Yeah.
You know, because now they're done. I mean, and they may have been done a few years ago, as far as we know, with his health. But he's always going to be popular. I mean, I always thought he was undervalued prior to COVID, and then he finally caught up.
Great player.
Absolutely. I mean, they did a little thing on him. I think it was ESPN. One of them was really showed his ability in all areas. Just incredible. The guy was. I mean, to watch him, it was fun. You'd really pay to watch him.
And he had a pretty good run. I mean, he really did have a good run.
660 home runs or something?
How many years did he play for?
24.
Unbelievable.
Well, I don't. He's close to that, and then he probably could have, without the Korean War, played more. But is he going to get the Negro League stats added in now?
Yeah, I'm kind of liking it. I think it's a good thing. So I know some people have mixed emotions about it because of the, I don't know, the games that were played, where they were played, who they played with. But I still think it's a great idea.
They have some stats out there, anyways. I think is good. But I mean, how do you incorporate that? Because I saw a deal where he said he played in 47 and then to 51. I'm like, when did he play in 47? But they said that's the Negro League when he was 17.
Yeah, right, in Birmingham, I think.
So wait a second.
51, he came up 51.
So did those stats got added to his MLB stats?
Well, yeah, that's right.
Interesting.
That will be added.
Yeah, I don't know if they've actually incorporated them into his 60 home runs, and the batting average gets readjusted and all that stuff. I think they opened up themselves a can of worms with that one.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah, they did.
Tom said it's nice to have some stats out there to go by.
Yeah.
Just to get an idea of what those guys actually did.
What are some of the other items that you have?
They're kind of a neat piece that the Royal Pudding Stand Musial. It's a complete box. Somebody trimmed the little edges on it for some reason. Always got a nice selection of rookie cards. Just a couple of them here. A low grade Aaron rookie and a Sayers rookie.
Yep.
Got Banks and K-Line and Killebrew and nice Carlton. I always like these guys you don't see too often. That Mayo cut plugs.
Oh, yeah.
Hugh Duffy. This is kind of a classic pose and lower grade again, but popular for somebody who's looking for it. Christy Matheson with the horizontal pose and the E92 Dockman.
Yeah, you got some good stuff there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of all over the board. I mean, that's what I've been happy with is I seem to get a nice assortment.
Are you going to be, you have a table at the National, Lee?
I do not have a table at the Nationals because I kind of fell under that. My number was too low.
Yeah.
I will be on the floor Wednesday through Friday. So if anybody's there and wants to get a hold of me, hand off consignments or whatever, I will be accessible for that. So we can find a meeting place and go ahead and do that. But hopefully Saturday morning, I'll have my tables for Chicago and move forward from there and don't have to worry about a table.
Well, you should get one of those A signs, back and front, and put down your name and
Yeah, that'll work.
Huh?
That'll work.
It would. You'd get attention, right?
Yeah, maybe I can put slots in there. They can drop their cards right.
Exactly. These little things, you got to think of.
All right, so the auction ends Thursday night. Don't forget to get your bids in. And your website address, Lee, is?
SterlingSportsAuctions.com. You can always, if you go into like Google or any of the searches, if you usually put Sterling Auctions in there, that'll come right to the top.
Yeah, that's good.
All right.
Good.
Lots start as low as $20, so it's not just for the big name stuff that you see. It's a little bit of everything, raw and ungraded.
Good for you. All right, my friend, we will see you at the National.
Appreciate it, guys. Most certainly. Thank you.
Care.
Take care.
Lee Behrens from Sterling Sports Auction. Okay, let's bring in Jordan Gilroy, Consignment Director for Leland. How are you, kiddo?
Not sweating as much as last week, thank God.
Oh, man, it was brutal.
Yeah.
Are you at the house or are you at the office?
The office.
Oh, good for you. All right, listen, before we get into some good questions with Jordan, let's do our On Deck with Rico segment.
On deck, on deck.
Time for our On Deck with Rico, brought to us each week by our good friend Brian Dwyer and the great staff at REA Auctions. Don't forget to get your bid in by going to robertedwardauctions.com. That's Robert Edward Auctions for extraordinary results and extraordinary service. And by the way, you can chime in.
Answered On Deck with Rito Patricelli.
I love those kids. All right. This was submitted by Scott Robinson.
Oh.
You don't even know who he is.
Yeah, right.
All right. Rico.
Yeah.
What is your all-time Red Sox defensive team?
Oh, come on. Get out of here.
First base.
George Scott.
Second base.
Bobby Dorr.
No, I'm saying, well, hold on a second.
Oh, the ones I played with?
That you played with.
Doug Griffin.
Second?
I don't know. Yeah, Doug Griffin was the second base.
Shortstop.
Shortstop?
Not including yourself.
No, I wasn't going to include myself because I'm not. Louis Aparicio.
Third base, not including yourself.
Frank Malzone.
You didn't play with Frank, did you?
Yeah, I played a year with Frank.
1 year. All right, left field?
Left field. Who do you think?
Yes.
Defense. Yes.
Right field?
Right field. Guys that, that
Should be in the Hall of Fame.
He's right. Dwight Evans.
Center field?
Well, center field. Guys I played with. Boy, Reggie was a hell of a.
Who was better,
Smith.
Reggie or
I'll give it to Fred.
Freddie?
I'll give it to Fred Lynn. Yeah, but yeah,
Reggie was a hell.
He was a hell all around player, and what an arm! Forget it, man. He could have been a terrific pitcher. You know, I mean, he really.
And actually, you know something? He really flourished. After when he went to the Dodgers.
Cardinals first and then the Dodgers.
And your catcher?
My catcher is Fisk.
Yeah. Jordan, do you have any objection to any of those choices?
It gives me these tough questions here.
Huh?
I agree with all of them.
He does. See that?
Where's he from?
Yeah. Well, he's not from Boston. But
he's not?
Actually, you would be.
Jordan, where you from?
Long Island.
Hey, Long Island, Levittown.
Oh, yeah. Belmore. Small world.
Yeah.
Wait a second. I thought you were in Brooklyn.
Brooklyn, yeah. We moved a couple of years to
the high rent district.
Levittown, and then moved back. Anyway, okay.
All right, so let's get Jordan.
That's
you guys, we're going to see you at the National, and you have an auction that's ending when?
This Saturday, June 29th.
All right. Now, you've got some really, really cool stuff. Tell me about the Air Jordans that you have.
Well, he wore them 3 games into his sophomore season and ended up breaking his foot and was out for 60-plus games that year. And when he came back, he had to wear like a modified pair of Air Jordans. So these might be the last original pair of Air Jordan ones that he ever wore. And, yeah, Mirror certified. There's some photos online that show him in the shoes, and they're awesome.
Did you, I mean, something like that, was a private consignor just said, hey, I want to get rid of these finally?
Yes. Well, actually, we sold them back in 2022 in that big Mint 25 auction. And they went for a lot of money. They went for over $400,000.
Oh, my God.
The person that consigned them now ended up getting them from the buyer of that sale. So it's not like the original people, but yeah, the story is still the same.
Well, who's the guy that had the 23, size 23 or something?
Shaquille.
I don't know what.
Shaq,
was
wasn't
it?
it?
Shaq
yeah.
or Abdul Jabbar?
No, but you know who else? What was his name? Bob Lanier.
Lanier, yeah.
Bob Lanier
that's
had
right.
a big foot, too.
Yeah, but that's amazing. It's that foot. I mean, it was like this.
I know. That's
Is Jordan, what size? Do you remember his size?
Well, we have a couple of pairs of Shaq shoes in our next auction that I just saw the other day, and they're 22s.
22s.
Unbelievable.
Holy man.
Size 22.
Specially made. You got to make them special.
That's unbelievable. Size 22.
Well, they're big boys.
You have also you have some gamers, some game used jerseys. You have a LeBron, and then you have a Ryan signed game used jersey. Tell us about those. Excuse me.
And there's a nice Astros Nolan Ryan jersey. Beautiful. I mean, we have over 100 game used bats, dozens of game used jerseys. I mean, talking about game used wise, like it's probably one of our biggest sales quantity wise. And there's a lot of range too. There are guys like Soriano and the Yankees that's worth a couple $100. But then there's a Johnny Bench rookie bat and Derek Jeter PSA 10 bat. There's a lot of stuff. So there's really every team.
Yeah. It's great stuff.
No, it is.
The Nolan Ryan shirt, is that the one that says, thanks, Rico, for helping me get into the Hall of Fame?
Why, you did well against him.
Oh, yeah. I fouled one ball off in 10 years.
Did you ever get a hit off him?
Yeah. Once he felt sorry for me. He threw it on the hand.
Would you hit a single?
Single, yeah. I got 2 singles.
How many
off.
times did he strike you out?
A lot. I told you, in the Herald, they have my picture. I struck out a lot against him. Really just couldn't catch up with that high fastball. Not many guys
I was
could.
going to say, not many people could, Rick.
Anyway, I just brought...
tell me about the 1927 game-used Yankees ball.
1927, yeah. I mean, it's signed also by Ruth and Gehrig and a number of other players and people on the White Sox also because they played them. So, I mean, we call it it was funny. It was easy to advertise because we're killing this auction with this murderer's row panel. And the signatures, I mean, there's so many signatures, you can't grade each one individually. But if we were to, and they did, I mean, the Gehrig and the Ruth would be like the nicest two on the ball.
And Lazzeri's on that panel too, right? I believe.
Yeah.
He was a good player.
Yeah,
Tony
very
Lazzeri.
good. But I was just thinking of the ball. The balls in those days and the baseballs now, they had them then. These are a lot tighter. I saw a couple of old baseballs. So
today's a tighter, you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, those balls were not as tight and didn't go as far. As you know, early on, they didn't hit many
So when
home runs.
when you started in the big leagues, was there? I mean, did you see a difference in baseballs from the time you started to the time you finished?
No.
So they didn't change it?
In the dead ball era.
No, seriously.
No, honestly, there were the regular balls. And then, there's a few years back where they supposedly did something to the balls. They wanted to hit. They want to see more home runs. So.
Well, they also put corks in the bats.
Well, that's I don't know about that. But it's interesting. That's
we have
stuff.
Rico and I saw. Obviously, we're not going to mention the player's name, but John Tobby, when we were at the National going back about 8 or 9 years ago, he says, "I want to show you guys this," and it was a corked bat belonging.
Don't say who.
We're not going to say who it belonged to, but it was a corked bat belonging to a very famous and popular Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
We'll leave it at that.
How about Bell? Bell, he got caught. All the guys got, foul the ball off and the stuff came out of the bat. How are you going to lie about that?
You never did that stuff, right?
I never cheated in my life.
So let me ask you this question.
Do that.
When you played, were you aware of any corked bats on your team?
No. No comment.
Come on, Jordan. You got to jump in here.
Yeah, it's all right. Jordan,
go ahead.
Sosa. I mean, that's all I'm thinking of.
Is who?
Sosa.
Oh,
that's
Sammy,
right.
forget
Yeah,
Sammy
Sammy.
Sosa.
But those bats should be worth something too.
He's a fraud.
Wait a minute. All right.
He was a
I don't wanna
fraud.
get into
I don't want to get into that either.
Yeah.
He was a fraud as a player.
So you got some great stuff here. My phone keeps going off. What is this?
Actually, let's do this. We're going to take a quick break. Jordan is in the house. We got a lot to talk about. He's a young guy, and we still always, when Jordan comes on, we always talk about some of the stuff that's going on with the modern card market.
Some, yeah.
I want to get into that.
Okay.
All right, so we're going to come back first, though, with a Gax blast from the past. Hang in there. And this is in honor of the Boston Celtics. We'll be right back.
Since 1996, Brian Drent and the staff at Denver's Mile High Card Company have led the charge in the collectibles hobby. Mile High is a full-service dealer specializing in buying and selling cards and offers a competitive consignment program for all collectors. Whether it be their computerized want list service, appraisals, or auction services, Mile High has it all. If you've been searching for a company with a selection of high-grade vintage 1888 to 1970 baseball cards and memorabilia that shares your passion, aim high, mile high. Go to milehighcardco.com or call 303-840-2784 for more information.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
This is Brian Drent, president of Mile High Card Company. Is your sports card and memorabilia collection properly insured? For easily replaced personal property, homeowners insurance is all most people need. But for prized possessions that you may have spent a lifetime collecting, it doesn't go nearly far enough. Collectables Insurance Services has been insuring for over 50 years. They offer a full range of protection and a $0 deductible at an affordable rate with no appraisals required. I know because they insure my collection. If you have a minute, go to collectinsure.com and learn more about insuring your personal card or memorabilia collection.
Are you a collector looking for that rare trading card or autograph ball or photo? If so, then PB Collectibles in Newport is the place for you. PB Collectibles has graded cards, raw cards, complete sets, and wax boxes of the stars of the future, today, and from the past. We also offer a large selection of both vintage and modern cards. So whether you're looking to add to your collection or sell it, visit us at PB Collectibles, 269 Spring Street in Newport, located across from St. Mary's Church. We are your neighborhood card shop and much more.
How would you like to own the bat that was used by your favorite player when he hit that towering home run or game-winning base hit? Now look no further than JT Sports, specializing in the sale and authentication of professional game-used bats. As the official authenticators of professional model game-used bats for PSA DNA, JT Sports will guarantee the authenticity of any bat purchased from them. JT Sports also buys and sells game-worn uniforms, gloves, and baseball equipment. The unique quality of the collectible is what JT Sports is all about. Give them a call at 609-487-8003 or check them out at GameUsedBats.com.
Hey, the hell was that?
That's how loud you yell when you come back
That's
from
what it is.
I blew my own ears
I
out.
know.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen, and it is time for a GAX Blast from the Past. Brought to you by our good friend Paul Borges and PB Collectibles, your neighborhood card shop. Go to pbcollectibles.com to find that special card or piece of memorabilia. Now, Jordan, when you see the show tomorrow night, you're going to see the video. All you're going to hear right now is the audio. Now, the Celtics won the championship. When we were kids, not you were an adult, but I was a kid.
Oh, go ahead.
The man that the Knicks fans and the Lakers fans loved to hate was the announcer for the Boston Celtics.
Oh, yeah, he was a homer.
In the eyes of Boston fans, he was a god. So it's time to sit high above courtside with Johnny Most. Listen in and watch it.
Hi there, sports fans. This is Johnny Most reporting for the Boston Celtics.
And we're starting to see the bang-bang stuff now. Rodman is all over Bird. And there is a violent knockdown by Lambert. Oh, my.
completely unnecessary foul by Lambier, and he has the audacity to complain about something. They have been called a dirty ball club, and I can see why. This is a typical disgusting display by Rodman, Lambier, and Isaiah Thomas. The yellow, gutless way they do things here. Now the other Lord Fauntleroy's coming in, the other good guy coming in, Rick Mahorn, the guy who hit people from behind. I have a great deal of contempt and disrespect for this kid right now because of the blindside swipe. He took it, Bird. It was Dennis Rodman, and he sneers. He didn't do it because he's a good boy. He wouldn't do something nasty like that. Dennis Rodman did not incur my respect anyway. In fact, tell that to these miserable Detroit media people because they called me jerk of the week. Well, fine, I'll be a jerk of the week, but I'll be myself. I wouldn't be like them for all the money in the world.
That's great. Jordan, you had to see the video because he's describing
this is great.
Like the way they're getting blindsided and all that stuff. And they're playing basketball. They're playing basketball. They're playing good defense, but that was Johnny Mills.
They were getting banged around.
Yeah, but
Detroit,
I mean, they were
always that way.
Yeah, but I mean, they were getting assaulted.
Punches.
Jordan, had you ever heard Johnny Mills before?
No, but I'm going to go to YouTube and watch his highlights. I mean, that was hilarious.
Johnny Most,
he was
a god. He was the Celtics play-by-play guy for how many years? 30, 40?
Oh, yeah, at least.
And he used to, there was no smoking at the Boston Garden. And he was the only one that they allowed to smoke. And he was up in the rafters where he used to broadcast from.
Yeah.
And a couple of times his pants caught on fire. Right? Yeah. A couple of times he was with Glenn, and Glenn I mean, I remember that. I mean, just hysterical.
He was a homer. He loved the Celtics, and he called. People loved him.
Let me think about this. Of the 18 championships, he called 15 of them.
Yeah.
He called 15 of the 18 championships. Pretty cool. All right, let's get back to Jordan. George Sisler ring. I'm a big George Sisler fan. Tell me about that piece of memorabilia.
Well, I mean, not a player ring, but it's pretty much, the name George Sisler pops out more than, any number of backup players. So, I mean, I think it should technically sell for more, and it may. But, yeah, I mean, you think Sisler, you're thinking really old, early baseball, but this is from the 90s Yankees era. So, I mean, you're not going to get a Jeter ring, I'll tell you that.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Well, you got some golf in here, too, right? Jack Nicklaus.
Yeah, did you
golf
see
bag?
The golf bag with his driver in it. Tell us about that.
I need a golf bag, by the way.
There you go.
Yeah, I'll give 5.
A big collection, a museum. We can't say what museum it was, but yeah, I mean, it's awesome. It's not something that he was given for a charity tournament and just used one time and put aside. I mean, there's no year on it, and there was no, designation of when he used it, but you could tell he used it for multiple events.
Sure. They have their name on it, don't they? Usually have it embroidered on it?
It's a cool piece.
Listen, I'll give you $50 right now.
$50. I think it's a little higher than that so far.
That's let me see. No, that's because I love golf.
You know what else they have, Rico? You can appreciate this. Pete Rose's wedding album.
Which wedding?
I don't know. Jordan, why don't you tell us about that?
It's pretty personal. Well, you see all the autographs and Amy's bats and jerseys, but this is definitely one of the more unique items. I mean, it gives you a glimpse into his off-the-field life, and that's kind of what everyone wants to see because, you close your eyes, you picture Pete Rose, he's swinging, he's in a Reds uniform, but you're not really thinking about him in a suit getting married, so it's not something that's going to up again.
Did you go to his wedding?
No, but we had his son. When I was doing Sirius XM, we had his son on one time. And he was telling us about, with the gambling and all.
Oh, yeah.
So, but he had some problems with his son. His son was, I think he was made majors or
he made it, but then not for very long.
Yeah, that's interesting. That's once he gets in the Hall of Fame in a couple of 100 years, then it's going to really be worse.
What were you saying, Jordan?
I think his son played for the Long Island Ducks.
Oh, does he? Yeah. Okay.
I can't remember, like a first baseman or something like that. Yeah.
Now, you played against him quite a bit.
Who?
Rose.
Oh, I thought you said his son.
No, Rose. But
yeah, a lot against spring training and stuff like that. Yeah, he was.
How good a player was he?
Great. You love to watch him, because he would go like, then he'd get in that crouch,
that crouch.
And when he'd take a pitch, he was just different, and he could hit to all fields, and he was like, some of the great hitters, not necessarily home run hitters, but where he could foul off that tough pitch, and then get a good pitch and then bang. But what is it, 4,200 hits? Man, if you can't get in the Hall of Fame with that, I don't care. Especially now with the owners, they're involved in the gambling.
And no steroids.
And no steroids. You're right.
Good point.
Jordan, what is your take? And Rico's making a point about the gambling that's going on with DraftKings and MLB and the National Basketball Association. What are your thoughts on that? I mean, I'm not a gambler, and I never have, to be honest with you. But isn't it just a matter of time before somebody bets against their own team?
They did. Somebody just got
well, yeah, you're right.
For life. I don't know if it was a player.
Well, I'm sure they do it all the time. I just don't think everyone gets caught. But, I mean, over time, I think Reggie Bush getting his Heisman back kind of shows us that there may be a time for people to not get over the past. But, I mean, it's not like Pete Rose took steroids and cheated. I mean, he bet, which is, against the rules back then, but now it's like $1 billion industry. And I mean, look at Ohtani. I mean, Ohtani is so big. Yeah. Who knows if he bets, but if he did, they're just sweeping it under the rug because he's like the face of baseball. So
you don't know. You're right.
It's tough. And it's really tough, but yeah, there's just so much money in it that who knows what we're going to say in 20 years. Maybe every player in the league is going to be allowed to bet. Yeah. You never know.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, and in 20 years, I'll
you'll still be.
Where I'm going to say, hey, Sonny, did you want to bet?
No, but
no.
All right. So, how tempting as a player? I mean, don't you find it tempting?
No. And the reason is because of my feeling for betting. I mean, I don't bet anywhere.
Yeah, see, I don't either.
Because I had two brothers that were high rollers. And no. Just betting on your own team as a player or manager, that's tough. That's tough to accept and to forgive. Pete did it maybe as a manager. There's no proof that he did it as a player. And we're talking Hall of Fame as a player.
Wait a second. So why is that a bad thing if you bet on your own team?
Because as a manager, you can make moves. Or as a player, you can, ball comes to you. Oops. It went through his legs, and they lose the game. You can't do that.
Oh, no, I'm saying to win.
Oh, to win? Well, you don't know. You don't know. But you're right. Jordan, in time, it might be okay. Who knows?
Yeah.
Jordan, let's talk about the implementation of the Negro League stats into the MLB stats. What are your feelings on that?
I mean, it's pretty cool. Like Josh Gibson was not like a household name. I mean, we knew him, you guys knew him, but not like everyone knew him.
Yeah.
I think it's pretty cool that he's getting his, spotlight. And now not everybody in the Negro Leagues is going to get, this big, rush of popularity, but he was an amazing player. But there are two sides to everything. Like some people didn't play in many games and this and that. You're not going to please everybody, but I think it's cool that it's being included in there.
You see his family just signed a deal with Topps.
Oh, Josh, that's smart. Yeah, why not?
Yeah, they just signed a deal.
I mean, him and the pitcher,
Satchel.
Yeah, Satchel Paige. They were the big names. I mean, that you would hear, outside of the Negro Leagues. When you.
Yeah, they were.
And Gibson, there's a lot of people said that he was incredible. I mean, he hit so many, he was so strong. He hit so many home runs. And I'm glad too that they have him.
Yeah, I think it's a good thing. I
Put
think
him
it's a
into
good thing.
at the major leagues. So, but he signed this state. What does he have? Do they have any cards?
I don't know. That's a good question. No, they'll probably come out now with a line of Josh Gibson cards, I would think.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, yeah. I mean, it seems like they create a line of cards, and it's like a limited release, and it sells 10 minutes. So you never know. Maybe the family has like it would be sacrilegious to buy a Gibson game, put it up and put it into a card at this point. But if they have something of his and they cut it up and put it into packs, I mean, that's what they're doing with MLB debut jerseys and all that stuff. So it'd be interesting.
So what are your thoughts on what you just kind of mentioned, coming out with something one of one all of a sudden, or one of two all of a sudden? And I mean, what was the word that we used to use, the phrase manufacturing? I can't remember what the adjective was. But is that getting out of hand with the manufacturers today, Jordan? Creating these very rare cards, but they're really not that rare because they could create more if they wanted to.
They can, but I think one of the cool things is how they take advantage of like random occurrences, right? Like when that girl got hit in the head with a ball and then she got her own card and then everybody bought those cards. I mean, we're not going to remember that.
All right, that's a good point.
But they're going to make the money and people are going to buy and have that for the quick second. But yeah, like these packs of, the same player, same card being numbered out of 100, 50, 25, 10, 5, 1. I mean, we don't know what's going to happen, but if a player has like 500 one-of-one rookie cards, I mean, that can get out of hand.
Yeah. I got a question before before the show is over. I would like to learn more, and I think or people watching and listening would like to. I know Tom would like to, Chrissy would like to.
Well, it depends on what it is.
Murphy would like to, her dog, know something about you. How did you start? Did you start collecting as a kid? How'd you get into this?
Yeah, as a kid in elementary school. I mean, my dad was an American history teacher, and he collected like American history autographs of presidents and stuff.
Wow. Nice.
He had a friend in his collecting world who did sports. So my dad's friend would give us like these game used jersey and rookie cards as kids, and then just going to card shows, then worked at a card store in high school and college, and then graduated from college like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And now at an auction house, which is, I mean, the highest possible kind of step that I could have imagined. It's snowballed.
Well, not only that, but you were at a great auction house. Did you start with Leland's? Was that your first job in this hobby? I mean, big job.
Yeah, it was September of 2015, and I graduated college in June of 2015. So like 3 months after graduating, and coming up on 9 years.
That's fabulous. Who hired you, Josh or Hef?
I think Laura might.
Laura hires everyone.
I interviewed with Laura, and these were the days where we had the Long Island office when Mike and were in Jersey. So I think it was a couple of months before I met Mike or Josh.
Josh was a very, very big part of this show. I don't know if you know this, that our first year out of the gate, Josh used to come on as a regular every other week. And he was hysterical. He was absolutely, he used to sing, right?
Remember? Yeah. Oh, yeah.
And he would come on two nights a month. You know who the other guy is that would come on the other 2 nights? Ken Golden.
Yeah.
So it was a combination, man. It was but Josh was absolutely hysterical. He was funny. And we did a couple of shows on the Burka stage with him.
Yeah.
That he co-hosted with us.
I got another question.
Go.
He's not obsessed, but in a good way, with the modern stuff now. He's a T206 guy because he's.
No, I'm not. I'm a
he's
vintage
old,
guy.
He's a vintage. Yeah, because he's of his age. And what do you think these modern cards? We got collectors listening and watching. What's your advice to them? I mean, you're a young guy, so what do you think?
I would just say no, like just accept the risk you're going to take, especially if you're going to buy and spend a lot of money on young players that haven't really done much. I mean, I don't want to give advice because my advice, I guess, like, don't buy the hype, but there are players that turn out very well, but is it the majority? Probably not. Especially in like football. I mean, look at all the QB draft classes the last couple of years. I mean, the one with Trevor Lawrence and Mac Jones in them, I mean, that was brutal. People spent a lot of money, and it was Zach Wilson and Trevor Lawrence, Mac Jones, and then now there's like Kenny Pickett. It's like they're around for a couple of years. You spend $100 on their stuff, and then
he's making my point.
I know. It's true, but what if they're cheaper? In other words, you're not going to go after Ohtani and some of the other Trout.
No, but you're gambling.
Yeah, but let's kids for the Red Sox. Who's good?
Jarren Duran.
All right, this kid Duran's good player. So right now his card is out. It can't be worth that much right now.
But that's a card. But hold on, though. Here's the difference. The difference is Mac Jones was coming out of college. Jarren Duran now is firmly entrenched. So that, in my estimation, would probably be a good value, a good investment to buy a PSA 10 Jarren Duran rookie card.
Right. It shouldn't be too expensive.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So
but he's already,
every team might have that guy. So what am I spending?
I mean, so I guess,
like take a shot at it? What the heck?
I don't know. Go ahead.
And then it can't hurt to go take a shot at it. They're just, you think of every sport, every player, there are going to be a lot that turn out. There are going to be a lot that don't. But in baseball, with the Bowman Chrome autographs, I mean, me personally, I haven't heard of more than half the people. But that's good for investing purposes, right? Because,
that is a good point.
Well, yeah,
that's a good point.
And if you blow up, then you're a genius.
A good friend of ours, a very good friend of ours, Staten Island Joe Marino, who is now North Palm Beach Joe Marino, he invested in about 500 Greg Jeffrey rookie cards. When Greg Jeffries,
it happens.
He struck out. He sent me a bunch of them, and he autographed them. Oh, what a piece of work. We are chatting with Jordan Gilroy from Leland's. We got a few more things to talk about. Before we take a break, entertainment memorabilia. You guys seem to kind of dabble in that quite a bit, right?
Yes, actually. We do have a pop culture section. And while we don't sell hundreds of items like sports, I mean, we do get good results. It's just that there are a lot more sport items that are worth more money.
Right.
But entertainment, it's more limited, well, for expensive items at least. So we'll sell autographs of presidents, and we have some pretty cool Bob Dylan items. We have a guitar signed by Jimmy Page. Like, they're really big
cool
names.
stuff.
That's nice, yeah.
And by the way, Hef has a phenomenal guitar collection. I don't know if he still has it, but have you ever seen his? You've seen it, right?
It was so long ago, maybe 7, 8 years ago.
It's just amazing. Between that and the wrestling costumes, it's just absolutely incredible. All right, we're going to take a quick break. Jordon'S are going to stick with us until the end of the show. When we come back, Tim Gallagher, the Consignment Director for Love of the Game Auctions, is going to be joining us. He's hooked up with Al Crisifulli. God bless this man.
My God
bless this man.
Didn't you talk to him before?
Yeah, we'll be right back.
Pristine Auction is a family-owned and operated online auction specializing in autographed memorabilia, sports cards, coins, art, and collectibles. Since their founding in 2010, they've grown to 2 facilities in Phoenix, Arizona, totaling over 60,000 square feet. Jared Cavalier and an incredible staff of over 150 team members serve a very large customer base and enjoy every minute of it. By working with leading authentication companies, Pristine ensures all items are 100% authentic. In addition, third-party authenticators regularly travel to Pristine Auction to provide authentication services on site. Pristine Auction strives to operate its business in a way that's honoring to God, their families, and their customers. With a strong focus on speed, quality, and premier customer service, their mission is to be the leading online auction for every level of collector and fan. Pristine also works for Hope Sports and Identity Hoops International, traveling to Mexico to build houses for the less fortunate. Pristine Auction offers several online auction formats with thousands of auctions ending each day. For more information, go to pristineauction.com. That's Pristine Auction, the best in the business.
If you're a discerning collector interested in owning the most important pieces in the hobby, look no further than Leland's Auctions. The original sports auction and appraisal house, Leland's was established in 1985 by legendary Pioneer founder Joshua Leland Evans. And today, President Mike Hefner carries on the tradition. From the Tom Brady card and memorabilia collection to the famed Boston Garden auction to high-end card auctions from every major sport, Leland's has always maintained the highest standards. Go to Lelands.com and get your bid in. That's Leland's, the hobby's leading sports auction house for 4 decades.
It's often been said that championships are won on the practice field, and world records come only to those willing to work harder than everybody else. Heritage Auctions is the world's largest collectibles auctioneer because we believe that becoming the best is only an invitation to the challenge of remaining the best. This requires the skills of the hobby's top experts, capable of identifying and maximizing value for our consigners. It requires the most visited website in the industry, courting a global audience of collectors over 1.5 million strong. It requires a dedicated press department that expands our global reach far beyond the entrenched hobby marketplace. It's hard work, but a simple premise. Present the finest collectibles to the largest population of potential buyers, and world records will come. We invite all listeners to put the unmatched power of Heritage Auctions to work for you. Auction evaluations are always free, and our commission-based fee structure ensures that our interests are always aligned. The highest possible price for your collectibles. There will always be new world records to chase, so let's chase them together. Visit our website at ha.com and request your no-obligation review today.
Hi, this is Dan from Memory Lane Auctions, here to remind you that the renowned Memory Lane Collectibles Company has served as a beacon of light to the collecting community for the past several decades. Indeed, folks, it has been our utmost privilege and pleasure to provide the most enthusiastic collectors with an abundance of the finest sports cards and memorabilia for America's most coveted sports personalities via our world-class auctions. Whether you choose either a private sale transaction or the auction route, Memory Lane cordially invites you to reach out to us to maximize the value of your prized possessions. Also, it is not just sales that we pride ourselves on being the best of the rest, because if you are seeking a particular keepsake for your esteemed gathering, we will be relentless in our quest to find that special piece to fulfill your collecting dreams. So no time to wait. Reach out to us today for the purposes of capitalizing on our unparalleled marketing capabilities. Simply pick up the phone and dial 877-606-5263. That's 877-606-LANE, or find us on the World Wide Web at www.memorylaneinc.com. Now is the time for your valued consignment to ultimately become another one of Memory Lane's record-setting prices.
Hey, I'm Mike Petroselli. If your company is looking for the best in marketing and promotional items, you'll hit a home run with Petroselli Marketing. With over 8,000 suppliers and 650,000 imprint-ready items, we can get your company the visibility it needs to get your maximum exposure. Whether it be office promotions, wearables, automotive, sports items, and everything in between, Petroselli Marketing can do it all. Our design staff will even work with you from concept to delivery and customize your products. At Petroselli Marketing Group, we will get your brand in front of your audience. Contact us at info@petrosellimkt.com or call us at 603-880-3202. That's Petroselli Marketing, where no dream is impossible.
Yeah, go to Petroselli Marketing. Go to the website. He's got a great website. And
are there pens?
Yeah, we got pens.
Are they as nice as the Memory Lane pens?
Oh, yeah. We can get anything. There's thousands of products. Get the, what do you call it, the embroidery, screen printing, and all that. I started the company, and I was.
How about those balls that, those, when
yeah,
you
stress balls. Stress balls. Yeah, we got them. Yeah, they're good. So anyway, if when you go into the show or the National, you need stuff like that. Give me a call or give him a call. We'll take care of you.
Jordan, not for nothing, but you want your talk to have. Tell him to spring for a few Petrocelli pens.
I'm telling
That's the least you can do. And Tim Gallagher, same thing with Crisifulli. Tell him to spring for a couple of authentic Petrocelli. Rico Petrocelli's pens, they're guaranteed.
They're not my pens. They put your logo on it.
Oh, that's right. I'm sorry.
See?
He
doesn't
know.
All
right, I'll let him know.
Welcome, Tim Gallagher, the new Consignment Director for our good friend Al Crisifulli and Love of the Game Auctions. I don't know if you guys have ever met. Say hi to Jordan. Jordan Gilroy is the Consignment Director for Leland's. So you guys have something in common.
Yep, I know Jordan's name for sure in the hobby.
My condolences.
So wait a minute. I'm thinking this whole show. What does a Consignment Director do?
That's a very good question. Why don't you walk us through that, Tim?
What do you got to do?
We know what Jordan does, as little as possible, but why don't you...
Yeah, well, first I want to say when I started following sports and baseball in the late 60s, if somebody told me in 2024 I'd be talking to Rico Petrocelli, that no matter how my life may have led me up to this point, it must have been pretty good. So, Mr. Petrocelli, I was a big fan back in the day. And
Tim, did you know that he once went 0 for 32?
Quiet. So what?
But, I'm just making a point.
So they wouldn't let me drive over bridges. So what?
Sure. Well, as a consignment director, and I've kind of had an interesting path. I went from a collector to a consigner to a consignment director. So I've kind of played a number of different roles. So, I've been collecting since I was a young kid. And then, had real jobs. We're all so fortunate to have jobs related to the hobby. So I had corporate sales jobs for decades. And whatever free time I had was, spent on building my collection, growing the hobby, and so on. And always had been aware of the business aspect of cards and the hobby, especially in the 1980s when things started taking off. But so I've kind of had an interesting journey to get to this point. But as a consignment director, we're basically working with people out there, and that can range from, very unsophisticated collectors that, hey, grandpa passed away and we found this box of cards or memorabilia. We don't really know what we're dealing with here, to very sophisticated collectors that, know the margins and values even better than me in a lot of cases. And then there's also player collections that we come across as well. So it's basically kind of assessing what people have and seeing what the potential value would be, and then presenting that to the market for them.
Right? Do you come to them? Do you go to them, or do they come to you?
It can work both ways. I'm sure Jordan has the same thing. We get inquiries all the time from people that are Googling, baseball cards to sell or those kind of things. And obviously, we advertise, just heard a number of the ads that you played before I came on the show. And so there's certainly, outreach as well. But then also people do find us and some of the different auction houses. And, and there's a lot of great firms in the hobby, and it kind of gets to who is someone comfortable in dealing with, and feels like we'll do the best job for them. Certainly in the world we're in today, where everything is digital and online, really kind of the size of the company may not matter, right? It's going to get seen.
Well, you're making a very good point, because obviously Al, I don't know if it's by design, because we always tease him a little bit. Al, Love of the Game Auctions is a niche auction house. It's not quite your mom and pop auction house, but it's not your Heritage or Golden or Leland's or Memory Lane auction house. So you guys have a really, really nice niche for yourself. You seem to be, and I think it's really paid dividends for love of the game. But one thing I want to ask both of you guys, I find it unbelievable that there are still fines out there. You know what I'm saying? I just, you think, how does this stuff turn up? Jordan, let's ask you first. You guys are always getting calls from people with fines, correct?
Yes, and to us it's a fine, but sometimes it could be a family having a collection and they know it's worth $1 million and they just don't tell anyone and they don't put it on social media. until they want to sell it. So it's crazy. I mean, there are definitely collections out there that people know are worth a lot of money, but there's really no use in telling anyone about it until you want to sell it.
Oh, that's a good point.
We think it's uncovering, right? I mean, it's, hobby fresh and all that stuff. It's, good trigger words for us to use to sell the items. But yeah, I mean, sometimes there are collections that are just known, and also there are some boxes of Cars and Addicts, I'm sure, that are worth a lot of money, but yeah, there's a little bit of everything.
Tim?
Yeah.
Yeah, similar. It's always exciting to receive an inquiry, pick up the phone on a call, because you just don't know what it might be. Right? It could range from those examples that I just touched on, very sophisticated collectors, to someone who's uncovered something in the family or has been passed on and isn't really that knowledgeable on the hobby and is looking for guidance. So, but yes, there's still a lot of interesting finds that are out there. And as Jordan said, sometimes there are people that are holding either due to sentimental value or just, hadn't really thought about putting it out there to the market, or maybe just have some hesitancy about it for various reasons.
That's right. I know. Yeah. I mean, it's. I mean, I still think. I mean, you've got some unbelievable stuff.
I got some nice stuff.
But I think his best piece is he's got Pepitone's wig. And how long have you had that now?
Well,
since you pulled it off his head.
You know what I'm looking for is dryer. He was the first guy to have a dryer.
That's right.
He was, honestly.
Right.
But no, there's 360 million, whatever it is, in this country. And you get stuff from out of the country as well, probably.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot. Who knows? When they knock down a house or something and rebuild, maybe they'll find.
Do you guys get phone calls? We've got about 3 or 4 minutes left. Do you guys get phone calls from retired players' families or from retired players? Jordan, you first.
Yeah, sometimes. And I mean, it kind of goes hand in hand with once you do it a couple of times and it kind of like spreads by word of mouth, or you see it in, some kind of publication or something. Like, we sold Oscar Robertson's collection, right? So if someone has a 50 greatest signed lithograph and they're a player and they see that we sold one for a lot of money, then they're like, oh, well, okay. I might not know Leland's name, but they have a track record of doing it.
Good point.
So
yeah,
ask them some questions.
Tim?
Yeah, good.
Yeah, absolutely. And as Jordan noted, there's a lot of referral business that comes our way in this hobby. Both it can be from player collections like that, where someone's teammate or a friend of that nature, or even just other collectors. Typically, it's a pretty tight knit hobby. So if someone has a good experience consigning, I get those kind of referrals all the time. Hey, I've got a buddy and he's been sitting on his collection and is looking to do something with it. So I have those kind of referrals a lot. So yes, word of mouth is definitely important.
Tim Gallagher, the new Consignment Director for Love of the Game Auctions. You're working for a great company. Now you're going to be at the National, I'm assuming?
Yes, I'm an Ohio native, so good to get back to Cleveland.
Hey,
that's good. And Jordan will be there. As a matter of fact, we are going to be broadcasting on the Berkus stage on the Friday.
What's the Berkus? What's the Berkus?
Mike
stage?
Berkus was one of the original
well,
founders.
See, you never told me that.
Well, I don't need to. You're supposed to know this stuff.
Well, yeah, okay.
Right? Mm-hmm. We're going to be broadcasting from the Berkus stage on Friday from 1 to 3. Then after that, Mr. Petroselli is going to make himself another $1 million by doing a signing somewhere. It's amazing.
He's full of baloney. He knows I do it for nothing.
Yeah, you do it for nothing. I pay for dinner, and I don't get not even a drink from you.
When we get there, I will pay for something.
Something. Tim Gallagher, we wish you the best.
Great, yes.
Love of the Game Auctions. Now you're in California, correct?
Right. I'm the West Coast Consignment Director, although work with consigners all over the world, really. But give Al a little less miles on the car, and I can kind of cover at least part of the West region of the United States.
And your email is on the website so people can contact you.
Yes, Tim at lotgauctions.com.
And Jordan, same thing with you. You're all over the place. Your website address?
Lelands.com.
Right. And don't ask for Hefner. Ask for Jordan. He's the guy. Jordan,
That's right.
Just before we let
stuff,
you go,
man.
in Wilmington, we did bring you a sandwich, but you were not around, so I sold it. I just wanted to let you know that.
I believe it.
We did. All right, guys, it's nice talking to you.
Great,
Say hi to
guys.
Al, say hi to Hef,
Yeah.
and to our viewers and listeners.
And great,
we love you
great
guys.
stuff, too.
Rick, have a great week.
Yeah, all right.
We got anything going on?
What? No.
Go Red Sox, and happy collecting.
Yeah.
The views and opinions expressed by the hosts, guests, or callers of this program do not necessarily reflect the opinions of the Studio 21 Podcast Cafe, the United Podcast Network, its partners, or affiliates.